Hello, everyone out there. I want to say a special hello to all of you who have tuned in from YouTube and Facebook. Thank you. So glad to see you, and welcome to the Ella Johnson Show. Now, on this broadcast, of course, you know that we set the table for Real Talk TV. That means nothing is off limits on this show. Now, right now, there are two open U.S. Senate seats. They're up for grabs. And it looks like Georgia is going to have to be the one to decide who fills those seats. Now, because of that, I wanted to bring on two of my hometown girls from Monroeville, Alabama, to talk about why this election is so important, not just to Georgia, but to all of us. But before I bring them on, I want to show you a video. Okay? So I want you guys to sit tight real second for this video.
I'm a lifelong conservative, pro-Second Amendment, pro-Trump, pro-military, and pro-wall.
We've been wrestling with COVID-19 all of these months. And then with the killing of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, we found ourselves wrestling again with what I call COVID-16-19, America's ongoing struggle with racism. In the midst of this, we saw a multi-generational, multiracial coalition of conscience pour out into American streets, literally risking exposure to one virus, but masking up in order to do battle against another virus. That for me gives me hope, because it means that the American promise, the idealism embedded in our creeds, is still very much alive in the hearts of ordinary American people.
Well, perhaps Senator Perdue would have been able to respond properly to the COVID-19 pandemic if you hadn't been fending off multiple federal investigations for insider trading. It's not just that you're a crook, Senator. It's that you're attacking the health of the people that you represent. You did say COVID-19 was no deadlier than the flu. You did say there would be no significant uptick in cases. All the while, you were looking after your own assets and your own portfolio, and you did vote 4 times to end protections for pre-existing conditions.
Kamala, I don't know.
You've continued to demean yourself throughout this campaign with your conduct. First, you were lengthening my nose in attack ads to remind everybody that I'm Jewish. Then when that didn't work, you started calling me some kind of Islamic terrorist. And then when that didn't work, you started calling me a Chinese communist.
Okay, guys, did you guys enjoy that video? Listen, if you are just tuning in to the broadcast tonight, I'm talking to two of my hometown friends, Eric and Marsha, and I'm getting ready to bring them on. They're just anxiously waiting to be here on the broadcast with me. There's Marsha. And there's Erica.
Hello. Hi.
Look at them, my hometown girls. Listen, we had a little technical difficulty right there, but we are just the bomb and we figured it out. But welcome, ladies, to the show. Now, I want to introduce my audience to both of you. In the top there, we have the beautiful Marsha. She is an educator for 28 years. Now, you know, that is some dedication right there. Because I've never had a job 28 years. I've never had a job for 8 years. You know, I'm a little troublemaker, you know, so. But Marsha, thank you so much. She's a mom, she's a grandmom, and she's a wife, and she leaves everything in mint condition. I know you guys have seen all of her broadcasts where she's like tearing the house down and rebuilding it. So welcome to the show, Marsha. Then Erica lives in Pensacola, and she is always going to be PVH, baby. Now, some of you don't know what that is. She knows what it is. That's Pine View Heights, baby. Okay, no, we weren't a gang. Don't go there. We were not in the gang, but it was just where we're from. And both of these ladies, I love them so much. And I just wanted to bring them onto the broadcast tonight because we really need to talk about this Georgia election. And being that Marsha voted, that was today when you voted, right, Marsha, or was that yesterday?
Yesterday.
She cast her vote. So we're excited about that. And we want her to share with us about what's going on in Georgia. And then Erica, she is just such an advocate for the election. Like, we're both in Florida, and you know how Florida did. We don't even want to go there, do we, Erica?
No.
They tripping. They tripping. But anyway, these ladies are here to help us talk about it. So before we get started, let's just start with the basics, because I know a lot of people that are watching this broadcast, ladies, probably, you know, they hear some rumblings about, oh, Georgia. But let's talk first, Erica, about why is it that we're in this position where there is a runoff? Let's start there.
I am thinking, first of all, hello, Marsha.
Hi, Erica.
Good to see you, my friend. Definitely. So, you know, Ella, we are in this position simply because, well, actually, Georgia made it happen. And
yeah.
When I say people went out and voted, wow, it's just, it's wonderful. And so here we are in this runoff because it was so close. And so Georgia, we just need you to do it again. Like I said earlier in a video, I said we couldn't get it done, just like we just said, Florida, of course, you know, but I'm so grateful and thankful that we are still in it, you know, in it to win it. And so I'm praying and hoping that this time there will not be a need for a second runoff, that it'll just be clear patch win for the Democrats, and then we can just move forward and try to rebuild some things in this, not just, you know, not just in, you know, our states, but the entire world, everybody.
Right.
Because we're all
well, just to give everybody a little background, what happened is in the November election, what is supposed to take place is that when you're running in an election, you have to secure at least 50% of the vote to win your election. Well, what happened in these two different people neither one of them secured 50% of the vote.
Right.
So whenever that happens, there has to be a runoff election. Right. So that is why we actually have this runoff election, is because, and I'm actually glad this happened, to be honest with you, because it would have been over for the Democrats by now, right? Because like all they needed to win was just, you know, and it's, so that's one reason we're here at this position. On January 5th, this election is going to happen. Now, Marsha, tell me, you're in Georgia. You know, I think it's okay to be country. I'm with my country friends, my sisters. So I think it's okay for me to be a little country every now and then.
That's right.
Now, Marsha, talk to me. You're in Cobb County, Georgia.
Actually,
you voted.
I am now in Douglas County.
You're now in Douglas.
I am now in Douglas. I moved over here in February. And I know that several people have been complaining about getting registered in different counties and in different states. And it is true. When my son and I went to register, we had some problems because they kept sending us from one place to the other. All I can say is those of you who are in that predicament, be persistent. Do not give up. Go where they tell you to go. We had to do a provisional voting. And for those of you who don't know what that means, we were allowed to vote but it was not counted until they could verify that we actually lived in the area. So we were able to go ahead and get that done on June the 4th, I think it was, that we had voted. And then when this primary came around, we went back, we were able to vote. There were no problems at all. Yes, the lines were very long. There were older people there with their chairs, but they did not give up until our younger society see how important it is for us to continue to vote, to do our civic duty. We're not going to ever climb that ladder as we should. When we first moved here, I would always take my kids down to the King Center so that they could see the videos and all of the tapings of what went on when people were trying to vote back in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, when the dogs were put on them, when the water hose were on them. They just don't see the significance now. And sometimes it's like when things are easier for us, we kind of take it for granted and we don't do what we say that we're going to do or what our ancestors want us to do. My son had some friends to come over and they said that they were not going to vote in November. And I quickly told them, do not come back to my house. I told them, why?
You didn't.
I said, you can't take life seriously. I said, somebody needs to light a fire under you to let you know that this is very important. And out of the 4 young African-American men who were here, 3 of them did go and vote. And I was so proud of them. One, he tried, but he had missed the deadline. But that's neither here nor there. But I was bound and determined that my son and I were going to vote. Felix, the husband, he had already registered, but I actually got absentee ballots. And if we couldn't make it to the polls, we had this where we could actually go and just drop it off. Well, he was able to go and vote last week, and I was so proud of him. That was his first time voting, and he did it on his own. He wore his sticker. And he was so proud of it. He had a sticker on his hat when he went to work. So I am proud of him. Yesterday, I was actually able to go and vote. I did not know I have to take these back and turn them in because they don't want absentee votes floating around. And we were actually already voting. So I do have to go and take that back. But yesterday, it took all of 4 minutes. I walked right in, came right out. So I encourage everyone, if you have not voted, you can go tomorrow, because I think tomorrow is the last day here, or it could be Friday. I'm not sure for early voting, but I encourage everyone to go. There are not as many open voting places as there were for the major election, but there are enough for you to go in and get out of there in less than 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, that's good to know that it's not taking long to get through the lines.
It is not as hectic as everyone thinks that it is.
Right. Well, that's good. I'm glad that we're clearing that up tonight on the Ella Johnson Show. So people from Georgia, if you're watching, it's not that big a deal. Just make it happen. Let's get down there. Let's do it. I see that quite a few, some millions have already voted.
2.5 million as of today.
Yeah. And it looks like it's kind of leaning Democrat, right?
Yes.
Girl, now listen, everybody may not understand why we're excited about this and why it's important, because let me just give you guys this little bit of information. Right now, the Democrats have 48. There are 100 seats in the Senate. Democrats have 48 right now, and the Republicans have 50. With these 2 elections, the Democrats have to win both to secure our place in the Senate. For us to run the Senate, we need to secure both of those. We can't get just one. We have to get both of them. Then it's tied. And once there's a tie, what happens?
A new vice president.
The new vice president will determine the ending count.
That's right. That's right. So
people are always concerned about the president. The president is not who's important.
Exactly.
It's the senators, it's the representatives, because they are the ones who are going to actually be able to veto, override whatever they need to have the last word, I'll say.
Right.
And people are not quick to go back and vote for their local elections
Yeah.
or their state elections. They think that once they get the president that they want, then that's a wrap. That is
Yeah.
not the case.
It's not. That's
Now
so
let's.
important. I'm so grateful that you mentioned that, Marsha.
I am
A lot
too.
of people don't, I guess they don't understand that. And Ella, with you doing things like this and trying to get the word out, that's just such a, it's such a great gesture. It's awesome. And people don't
Yeah.
realize, just like we're in the predicament today, with the Senate majority, it's just a simple yes or no, because he can say simple. He can say yes or no. And he can be the only one to make the decision, to make a decision that's going to affect millions of people, the entire country. And so the 2 seats that are available right now, it is so urgent that we do, we win them, because like you said, if we win those and then we have the new incoming vice president, she's the one that gets to break that tie. And it's happened so many times, within our country, where the vice president has to come in, one of her duties and responsibilities. So I just want to just Georgia, please, 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 like I said, you guys are our hope right now. And right now, you guys
Really
what
are.
we have and what we need.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
so appreciative that all of the people that did go out and vote. Thank you so much. I love you. And all the
I
people
love
that
you
are gonna
guys too.
wait,
I know,
the
right?
people that are actually going to wait to do it on, what is it, January 5th, I think. Bravo to you too. Just make your vote count. Make your
Just
vote count.
yeah.
And just to say, Mark, exactly when my daughter was smaller, taking her to the museums as well. The one, the Dr. King one, the one in Tennessee, the one in Selma. And people may not count the Selma, the museums and all those things. It's so rich in history. So if you have not taken your children, audience, to these museums, and so many people, they'll call me and say, I'm trying to take my kid to a museum. Which one? And I just start naming them. Try to plan. I mean, of course now we can't do it because of COVID, but before and even after, teach your children what all of this is for. Because like my
Right.
daughter said, your son is now able to vote. And when it's time for the next election, my daughter will be able to vote. And I just try to educate her as much as I can, with things, and try to keep her, okay, I need you to sit down and see what's going on. This is happening today.
Mhm.
This didn't happen back then. This is happening today. And it's so important. So I appreciate all of that. Go vote, people. Please, please, please.
Another thing too, Erica and Marcia, is that, McConnell
Yeah.
outrightly admitted that he on purpose stopped a lot of things that Obama was
Mhm.
trying to bring
Oh,
in.
yes, yes.
That's a little bit too much power. So it's almost like
Yeah.
we have to, our people have to run everything for us to get things through, because he's not going to
Right,
allow anything that he's going to make it hard for Biden
right,
if
right.
he is still there.
Yes.
So that's another reason why it's so important
Oh,
to
yeah.
guys. Yeah.
It is. And with things such as, socioeconomic situations among people, and want to, say like there's a barrier or a separation. 2020, your socioeconomic aspect or level of life actually it's not very far off from anyone else's. And when you talk about COVID-19, they're not looking at you whether you're rich or poor, tall or short, how
Girl,
big of
say
a house
it.
you live in. COVID-19 is not discriminating in any way. It
Say
will
it.
get you, or you will get it, no matter who you are. And those are the types of things that we just were not protected from. And it's unfortunate that we have to suffer the consequences of the presidency, of the Senate, of all those people that were in charge of making these decisions on our behalf, just did not have our best interest in mind when these decisions were made to make all these cuts to the CDC. Not even really realizing how important that is. They couldn't have, because otherwise, just like every other president, it would have stayed in place. And for this time, it just didn't. And now look at where we are. People
Yeah.
are dying, babies. It's not just one age level, not just one background, not just one ethnicity, not one race. It's totally and completely affecting everybody. I say affecting and effecting in both ways, because it
Right.
has. And so
Yeah.
we're all in this together.
Yes,
We're
we
all
are.
in this thing
Yes.
together. And we
Yeah.
have to stick together and be together, because together we stand,
Right.
divided we fall. And that's just where my sister was so heartfelt with it, because I don't live in Georgia. I wish I did. I could go vote. I would go vote. I promise I would. But
I would too.
you know, I did. I would.
You think maybe if I go with another wig, Marsha, and maybe use my other personality, that I can get away with it?
Erica, that
Just saying.
reminds me of a lesson that I taught to my kids when we were doing our social studies, and they were learning the 3 branches of governments and what the duties and responsibilities of those officers were. And I was telling my kids, I said, you know, sometimes some of those representatives, the senators, they don't always make judgment for the people.
Right.
Because there are these people up there and they're called lobbyists.
Right.
And
Right.
those lobbyists are throwing around millions and millions of dollars
Okay.
to get those people to vote the way that they want them to vote.
Yes.
Setting-
Yes.
Realize that the gerrymandering that's going on, they're grouping subdivisions in different areas for a reason.
That's true.
If you notice it, a lot of the poor, uneducated, and I'm not going to even say black and white because this is not a black and white thing.
Right.
This is a humanities thing.
Right.
But a lot of the uneducated or undereducated people, the poor, that's where you find a lot of these electric towers or the phone towers or underground cables
Right.
in those areas. And sometimes they even wonder why is it that a school is out in a cow pasture that's in the boondocks, because that's the cheapest land that they could find.
Correct.
That it's not that they don't care about the students or the teachers, but if that cheap land is on an old minefield or an old buried dump and the can get it cheaper, then those county commissioners are going to go and put money in that area. They're going to do whatever they need to do in order to get money from these lobbyists. And these people are not looking out for our best interests. And these kids nowadays, they need to understand that they have to educate themselves on the duties and responsibilities before they go to the polls. Go home, talk to your parents, ask your parents, why are you voting for this person? Are you voting for the person or are you voting for the party? Because there is a difference.
Yes.
This Donald Trump thing is not a black-white issue, because a lot of people who are true Republicans, they are voting for him and supporting him because of their money.
True.
He has their money at heart. He's going to do whatever he can do to keep money in these rich people's pockets, because that's going to in turn put money in his pocket.
True.
You know, and a lot of kids really don't understand that. And before we even got out for our break, I asked the kids, I said, if we were having our election today, and this was right before the Biden-Trump election, I
Right.
said, who would you vote for? Overwhelmingly, it was 90% for Biden. And you can tell how the parents were swaying because of the children's comments, because the kids were just mimicking, and they were little tape recorders of what they've heard their parents say. And I found it to be very interesting. And I just asked them, why? Why would you vote for Biden? Why would you vote for Trump? I can't get my words mixed up because this makes me so excited when I talk about my babies. But and they were giving me valid reasons why. And it wasn't that when my little Republican kids were talking about why they were voting for Trump, it had absolutely nothing to do with race. But it was because their parents own stock. These kids thought on a different level than my other babies who didn't even know what having stock meant.
Right.
So we have to educate our kids. And once we educate them at an early age and let them become those little advocates and grow up to be the strong advocate like you are, we will be better off. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people hide behind the fact that they don't have time to go and vote, or they could do something else on this day. Well, up here in Georgia, we had the advantage of being out of school on voting day because they voted in the schools. Where now voting day is actually a student holiday. So a lot of the kids are out, and I encourage them to go to the polls with their parents. And if they can bring me that little sticker, they're going to get extra points. And
Aw.
it was so
love it.
They were coming back with those stickers the next day, and I was so happy for them. Even my little virtual babies, they had their stickers showing it on the screen just to let me know,
Wonderful.
Miss Odom, my mom voted, or Miss Odom, I went with my dad, I went with my aunt. I said, the more stickers, the merrier. I said, for every sticker you bring me, you're going to get extra points. And it got them to thinking as to why are we voting? What are we voting for? Why are we supporting these people? They even had to come back and tell me 3 valid reasons of why you would support this candidate. They were even writing their speeches of if they were running for that particular seat. What would
Wow.
What
That
would you
is
try?
awesome, Marsha.
Oh, yeah.
That is awesome. I love it.
We can do so much. Even today, there was a lady who came and they were knocking on the doors. And I'm new to the neighborhood, like I told you earlier, but we have a Facebook thread that we do. And everyone was taking pictures because there were strange cars in the neighborhood. Well, I was on edge at that point, and it was just a few minutes later, there was a knock at my door, and I went to the door, and there was a white lady there, and I was like, oh, she's trying to get me to vote for Trump. I said, I'm just going to sit here and wait. This lady, she pulled out her little Democrat sticker, and they were going around to all of the neighborhoods just to encourage people to get out and vote.
That's
Not
good.
one time did she say, I want you to vote for the Democrats or calling them by name, but they were just coming out to see if you were able to get to the polls, and if you had not voted, why. They just wanted to know why. What can we do to make it better? And I thought that was so, it was uplifting, because it's like some candidates are spending all of this money. I was watching CNN last night, and they were saying that there has been more money spent in this runoff.
Yes, I saw that.
Georgia runoff than ever before in history.
Wow.
All of that money.
That should say a lot, right,
It
ladies?
does say a
That they're going in so hard. That's a reason for that.
But you know, Ella, I look at that from a different perspective also. There are people who do not even have food on their table.
Come on now, preach.
Clothes. They do not have an adequate supply of anything. And these millions and millions and millions of dollars are being spent for an election. Who's going to look out for these people? Are candidates really spending this money to get in the position to help, or are they doing it for just the fact that they are in the position to do it?
Right.
And I'm not going to say it's wasteful money, because I know they have to pay for rent for these facilities. I know they have to pay for flyers. I know they have to pay the salaries, because all these people are not volunteers. But if people can contribute money like that for an election, what does that say about us as humans, that we can't even reach out to help somebody in need? We need to have candidates who are going to look out for those people that we don't know about. We need those kind of candidates, and not these who are just in a position just to be in that position.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's just going on and on and on. And you know, I have to tell my parents sometimes. Actually, I don't hesitate, because they know me. I tell them, when your child comes into my office, they're mine. So I talk to them like they're mine. It's not just anything except for, I call it reality therapy, because that's what we do inside of Ms. Brown's office. And so basically when and that goes for the parents as well, you know, and I say, you have to be your child's first teacher. You cannot send your children to school expecting for your teacher to teach them things, no matter what those things are. And we have been in this thing so long, and they come in and they talk, you know, well, I don't have this and I don't have that. And yes, I dare to ask, did you vote? Did you vote? Well, I did, but I couldn't. Or some will say, no, I don't, you know, the same thing. And I'm saying all of these things are of the essence.
Right.
You have to vote. You have to. And when you're under the federal consideration, that affects everybody.
That's true.
When things are coming down, not just by your state or your county or your local city governments, When we talk about federal, that's everyone. That's everybody in a
Absolutely.
nutshell. So that when you're talking about your health care, you're talking about your food stamps, you're talking about, your Social Security, you're talking about rent or low income housing, you're talking about infrastructure, you're talking about everything, education, yeah, all of it. You're talking about all of these things, but when we vote for these people, we put them in to represent us. We have to make sure that they are going to, at all times, whenever they're making a conscious decision, do I have my people in my best, am I taking them into consideration and have their needs and what they need into, when I make these decisions? And a lot of lawmakers don't do that.
That's
And
true.
so that's what we have to be conscious of when we're voting for people. And I've studied and researched, both of these candidates. I think it's Mr. Warnock and Mr. Ossoff. I think I'm pronouncing those names right. And so I have, these are really great men of valor. And I know that when they get into these Senate seats, that they're going to take into consideration what's best for Georgia.
For the people. Yes.
I believe
I noticed that.
I do. I certainly do believe all of that will happen. So whenever we say, well, I don't have time to vote, or I didn't go to the polls, what's the use? My vote, they're just going to do what they want to do anyway. I get that so much.
Yes.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Because if you go back centuries, generation after generation, you know how much people had to suffer to even get a vote, even have the right to vote. And I sent my child, my children, my students, my parents, grown folks, anybody that will listen. You guys, this is history. People have died, beaten, hung. I mean, come on. Just to have this right available to us, and then you take it for granted? No, we can't do that. So basically, exercise your. How do you raise your voice? Well, I don't know how to use big words. You don't have to. You know how to use big words to go and vote.
Right.
Just register. Go through the process. How do you express yourself? By voting.
Without it, you have no voice.
It makes a difference. And so that's what I want to just express. Even in this next election coming up, for us to go through these next 4 years, it would just be awesome again. And I want to say that the last time that the House and the Senate were both Democratic, I want to say Bill Clinton, but I'm not, don't quote me on that because I'm not sure, but wouldn't that be awesome? It would. We will have, and I know that when these two parties come together, these two areas of government, things are going to change.
Things will change.
Things are going to get better, and people won't have to worry so much about, it's not just from month to month now about how we're going to survive. It is from from hour to hour. That's what I want to say.
Now let's shift gears. Let's shift gears a little bit, guys, because people that are watching the broadcast, they also watch the news and they see all kinds of stuff. And of course, elections can be dirty. Let's just be real. And right now, I noticed today in the news that there's some stuff coming out about Reverend Raphael Warnock. And let's talk about a little bit about it, because I don't want people to base their decision on someone who has some alleged drama, because the media they spun it this way and they said it this way. And it's making people think like, why am I going to vote for him again? They lose everything that they knew about him, all the good, and they want to let this drama kind of come in. So let's talk a little bit about that. Because Marsha, when you voted, because I know you watch news as well, you watch CNN probably as much as I do, and you know that they have a lot of issues, a lot of, I know Warnock had a thing with his ex-wife, said he ran over her toe, and that became news for some reason. Obviously, we know why. But when you go to the polls, do you even think about any of that?
Yes. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
I don't base my voting on personal things. I base my voting and my support on their track record in voting. As long as they've been in office, what do they support? Are they going to help children? Are they going to help the sick? Are they going to help the elderly? If I were not for the children and the elderly as much as I am, I could easily be a Republican, easily. But because I have a stronger tie to the welfare of children and to the elderly, I think that's why I am basically a Democrat. I I am no perfect person by any stretch of the imagination. If he ran over her toe, move your foot out of the way. Let's keep it moving because he supports this, he does that. I don't look at it as a downfall for him. To me, he's human. But when you have two candidates who dumped all of these millions of dollars in the stock market, I look at that because that's very unethical.
Yes,
and because you have your base who's going to support you no matter what, that speaks volumes to me. That's why I said earlier, you don't need to really vote for a party. You need to vote for the person. Because a lot of things that they say, just because it's said, doesn't mean that it's a fact. True. And a lot of things that are said, it could be true, but there is a reason why. If you're not going to take the time to get to the bottom of that story of why did this happen, what were the...
They don't care about that.
Exactly. Yeah. They just want to take it and run with it.
Yes.
You don't know that person's heart. Why are you going to speak out against them? Because you're going to put it in a situation where you are voting for the lesser of the two evils. You know, and that's not what you should base anything on. Everybody has a flaw in their character, but you need to just look at the facts and make sure that this person is the one who has always voted on this law or voted on that law in order to help someone else. That's just the way I see it.
What about you, Erica?
It's not about black and white. It's not about what they say, because anybody can make up a lie. A lie does not care who tells it, as long as so you just have to get to the base of it. You can't just take things at face value. If you're not going to get to the base of it, don't tell me the whole story. You know, just bits and pieces like that.
What do you think about that? What do you think about all the drama that that shows up on the candidate that you like? How does that affect your voting? Or if it does at all?
It does, but I still have to go back to their voting history. Because
I was asking you, Erica. Marsha already answered. Marsha has already written the essay, the report, the whole thing. Marsha wrote the Bible, baby. She is delivering Bible ethic tonight. But I was asking you, how do you feel about it? I mean, does it, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't, I don't look at that. I really look at the debate, the things, how he answers his questions and what he's really all about. And I do my research as well, even though I'm not voting in the election. But how does it affect you, if at all, when you hear about all of the drama that's going on in the media about Warnock? Because, you know, obviously these are election tactics. How does that affect you?
I'm the type where, and it's kind of, you know, daily basis for me. It's my phrase is save the drama for your mama. You know, the little phrase when they start with drama. People have flaws. There are no perfect people. Sorry. You may think you are or whatever, but I'm so sorry. There are no perfect. Nobody's going to get it right all the time. And yes, people are going to mess up. We have mistakes, we have mix-ups, we have mess-ups. But the only thing that we can do is to mistakes and just go forward. So basically, at that time, whenever there is a situation or a negativity on a candidate, that's what's going to be drawn to the forefront. Forget about all the great things that they've done. You know, forget about how they have directly impacted the people around them. Forget about all the good. Yeah, just focus on the one or two little bad things that they've done. And so basically for me, a person's personal life is just that, their personal life. For me, a person's agenda for the people is also that. And so I'm like you, I do the research whether I'm voting yes or no. But if the person can do the job and can do what's best for everyone, I'm good with that. I am good with that. As long as that person has a good heart, has everybody's best interest in mind, from the poor people to the richest of the rich. A lot of people, selfishness just overtakes a lot of people sometimes. And sometimes we get into the politics of it and we forget about the humility and the integrity. We forget about the humility and the integrity, and we just let out, well, it's politics, it's all crooked, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. So if you're going to step into this zone, I say if you're going to step into this position, my first inclination for you to get my vote is your authenticity, your knowledge, your heart warmth, your heartfelt for the people, and then your integrity and the things that you're willing to do to make life easier for everyone. So flaws and all of that, sure, we're going to have flaws. We're human, and people are going to mess up. But at the same time, do your job and be the best at everything that you can do. And that's what I look at. That's how I do it.
Right. I think that's
Yeah.
good. I really
Yeah.
do think that's good because
Definitely.
to lose people because they don't
Yeah.
know how to decipher this information
Correct.
and make the right.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Awesome. So Marsha, how did Boogaloo, how did he feel when he voted for the first time?
He was so proud.
I saw the picture. He was just so handsome. And I was just like, oh,
He was so proud. And
What
I
is-
was proud of him.
Yeah.
you're in Georgia. What does it feel like with everybody that, like your friends, your other teachers? I mean, what is the feel of the atmosphere? Just help me out with the atmosphere in Georgia right now. Are they excited? Are
People
they?
here are very excited.
I can
it's so-
tell.
It's just, like how you would feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders and you have to do the right thing because everybody's expecting you
Yes.
to do the right thing.
Yes.
That's how it feels now, because for there to be already 2.5 million people to have voted for early voting, they
yeah,
know that
definitely.
they have to come through. They know that they do, because everybody in the United States is depending on us to do the right thing.
Yeah. I think we have moved from this whole, well, I don't think it matters. I think we've moved from that.
As a
Don't
whole,
you guys think?
I agree.
As a whole,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
we needed to. We needed to.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that we were able to do that. Well, let's talk about one of the champions in this election, Stacey Abrams. Let's talk about her. I am just so excited. I mean, she has become a Democratic champion for us and getting people registered to vote and bringing people to the polls. I mean, speak on it, Marsha. How do you feel?
You can feel in the atmosphere how when you mention her name, it's always something positive. And I think it was because so many people supported her when she was running for governor, and it fell short for her. Her support did not fail. So you can see the work that she is doing now is from the support that she had gotten when she was running. So it's just a carryover. So I assume that
I think she's going to be your next governor. Absolutely. She's going to be the next governor.
Let's pray on it.
Yeah, I really believe that. I was reading the story today about her sister, who's a judge. She just so happened to be one of the judges that Trump didn't appoint, but she made a decision that will affect this election when she turned over that, because they made it where they purged all of those votes. I think it was like 4,000 votes or some voters that will now be able to vote in the election because she overturned that. And the Republicans are not happy about that because they're like, listen, that's a conflict of interest because that's Stacey Abrams' sister. But nonetheless, I thought that was a turn in this election, how you now have, because my thing is, why were they purged in the first place? Like, what's the criteria to have something purged? Is it because something doesn't match a signature? What is it that?
It could very well have been a signature, because I remember listening last week, and they were saying that 99.9% of the signatures matched. They don't understand why it is that Georgia was being sued, because everything was aligned. So if it's a problem with nepotism when it comes to Georgia with Stacey Abrams and her sister, why is it not a problem when you have your children on staff in the White House? Something to make you say,
Yeah. Yeah, that's that thing that make you just turn your head the other way, like,
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. It's true. Guys, what do we want to say to people that are watching this broadcast who haven't voted, who may not
Go
have?
vote.
Yeah,
It is not too late. Go vote.
Please.
It is too easy
Please.
to vote.
Please vote, because I mean, we just talked about Stacey Abrams. I mean, we're talking about Mayor Bottoms, Keisha Lance Bottoms. We're talking about
That's Auntie
Senator.
Keisha.
Auntie Keisha.
Auntie Keisha.
I think she's just so
I like
cute.
that. I
She's just
love
so
that.
cute.
Yeah, and Senator Williams, you know, I think she is the person that is now in place of Senator John Lewis, and I mean, we can't forget these people and the all of the hard work that they are doing, and so I feel like I just said, if everybody would just band together and please
Yes.
go and vote, I know it's going to be great.
I have a good feeling
I
too,
know
Erica.
it's going to be great.
I
And
do.
so,
I
I'm just
do.
excited. I feel like I'm so excited. Like, basically God has already given it to us, because I'm a believer that I don't say my blessing is coming. I'm saying my blessing is here. He said, walk in
Right.
it. So that's where I am every time. So I'm not that person. Oh, it's on the way. No, he said it's yours. As soon as you claim it, it's yours. And so
That's true.
I'm hoping and praying.
Now, Kim,
that we'll go out and
I
vote.
want
Yeah.
to talk a little bit about some of the comments from our viewers. Kim Abney, another hometown friend, and he is on the broadcast, and I see that he made a comment when I asked about how is it in Atlanta. He said it's excitement and racial tension.
Wow.
And then he said that this election has driven two things in Georgia. One, Black voter registration, and two, gun sales.
Yes.
Gun sales? Really, Marsha?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that.
Why for the gun
Yeah.
sales?
It is strange here when you go to Walmart, any of the department stores, and you see people walking around with AK-47s. It's different when you see someone with a pistol. You can kind of adjust to that. But when you see people strapped with AK-47s and they are just flaunt them, and it could be someone that that there would be no consequences if they shoot someone. It's scary.
Yeah.
It is really, really scary. And I had to actually go back and get my permit renewed. It took almost 3 weeks for me to get that done. And when I got them the first time about 7 years ago, less than a week. It was less than a week.
Less than a week, what?
It was less than a week for me to get my permit, my
okay.
permit. And like right now, it's fear and intimidation, because
I thought you were gonna say it took you less than a week to use it. I was just like, oh, it's like that. Do I need to come to Georgia? I mean, clear it up for me.
But when Kim mentioned the gun sales, yes, yeah. I do believe that, because you have people who will ride around the voting area with their flags waving on their trucks. You still see them walking around with their guns, even though they're not supposed to go inside with weapons. It's just the mere fact that they are intimidating some people. Those are the same tactics that were done when our grandparents and parents were voting. Yes. So some things haven't changed. It's just a little more camouflage now, I guess.
Yeah.
That is a very good point, Marsha, because you're right. It's just history repeating itself in so many ways.
You're right.
Even with the voter suppression, it's like these are the same things they did then, coming to the polling precincts and trying to intimidate people and stuff like that, and trying to tell people, oh, there's no use in you voting and all this kinds of stuff. It's like, come on. And we have to be smarter. We really do. We have to know why we need this. Why we need this. Guys, well, we're wrapping up our show. And I just want to thank all the people that have tuned in. I mean, you guys are awesome. I wish I could bring all. But Marsha, I'm very happy. Tell me about your students. How many students you have? How do you like being a teacher? I mean, you've done it for 28 years.
I still love it.
You got to love it, girl.
I have not.
You got to love it
yet. I have 2 more years to go.
Amen.
But I don't think I'm going to retire. Not unless something drastic happens between now and then. I don't think I'm ready to retire because I haven't lost my love yet.
I'm gonna tell you where I see you, Marsha. I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, don't shoot me for this one. I'm glad I'm not there in Atlanta. I really do see you taking on the political arena.
No.
I see it. I see it because you have heart.
I
do.
Heart, but it's a different kind of passion. I would rather deal with kids any day.
It's the kind of passion we need, though. Well, you're good. I could not. I know for a fact I could not be a teacher. I love the kids, but I'd probably be fired the first week because I would do something. Listen, because I would do something that I'm used to as a kid that you can go to jail for now, like hit them in the mouth, stuff like that. I mean, because I got popped in the mouth because I used to have a mouth, Marsha, or pinch their ears and just stuff that I grew up doing, and they would be like, "Baby, you can't do that,"
No.
and I'd be like, "Oh." So no, I applaud you, ladies. You guys belong in that system. You're good, and I want to say both to both of you. I'm so proud. I'm so proud that you're serving our communities the way you guys are. I really am. It just does my heart so good. Keep it going. I like your background there, Marsha, with your decorations, and girl, you're like the next Martha Stewart. I'm telling you.
They're having a take down
Cooking.
Christmas decoration party.
Marsha, what you make me think of? See you doing all that. I think about how I got kicked out of home ec a lot, and that's why I can't do that.
Talk about home ec.
Erica, listen. I had a mouth. It was just right, Marsha. It was just, well, I mean, yeah. But I mean, in 7th grade, it wasn't a good thing. But I'm just so proud of you guys, and it's just so good to be able to come on with my girlfriends from back home. And I mean, we may not see each other in the flesh, but we definitely can see each other through these, venues like this. And I hope you guys are staying safe and being good over there, and keeping your mask on and staying safe.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna let you guys have some of the last word here, so we can talk to our viewers, so we can get out of here and be on time. You first, Marsha. Talk to them.
Say, if you have not gone out to vote, please do so. Go.
All right.
Vote.
Erica.
I just want to say thank you, Ella. You are so fabulous, and I love you dearly.
Oh. I love you too.
So much.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I mean, just a sweet motivator with your passion and just, your heart. And I appreciate you. I just want you to know that.
Thank you, dear.
And to all of the viewers, I mean, even if, of course, it's not our state, let's encourage Georgia right now for these next few days. And then just kind of keep it going, even if it's not an election, just across the state, across the world. Reach out, get on there, just give somebody a kind word, because it may just be your kindness that day that one person may see that you may save their life. But in that situation so many times, just go up, just say, you look so great today. We can't touch and hug like we used to. I miss that so much with my kids.
I do too.
Hugging so much. But at the same time, we know that we have to be safe. But just find the goodness in everything. It's going bad for all of us. When I say that bad, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that we are not in control of what's happening with us right now. We don't have the last word or the last say that these people making these decisions for us. But what we can do is try to find that positivity and just try to stay happy and stay healthy, self-care, love, and all of that kind of stuff. So I give air hugs. Air hug, COVID hug.
Yay. I know. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Love. That's it.
That's it. Well, guys, listen, I want to thank all of you so much for tuning into the Ella Johnson Show. On my next broadcast, I will come back to you next Wednesday, and I will interview another hometown friend, Antonio Odom. He's taking the music industry by storm, and I'm going to bring him on the show because that's what it's all about. Going back home and showing the love to the people that made me who I am. Real talk. But listen, guys, thank you all. Kim, I hope you're doing better. All of you that tuned in, thank you so much. I love you all. And nothing else, ladies? Y'all know how we do in the church. All mine satisfied. Y'all know, you Marsha, you gotta help me. Y'all know we spent all our life in church. Now, Marsha, do you remember Erica with the cherubims?
Yes,
Remember
the
she
little
could
white-
sing?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God, we thought we was what?
Yes. I was
Girl,
telling my
listen,
daughter that story just the other day. That I was 3 years old. I'll never forget it. Standing up, Miss Oda made me stand in the chair. And when I got done singing, Stefan Andrews' dad gave me $5. That was the best $5 that I had ever.
Really?
He said,
That's all you had to do was sing.
yes.
But
he
you were
did.
so bold. The rest of us were scared, right? I know I was scared. Marsha, were you scared? I was scared.
I was a silent
I'm
lip
telling you.
syncer, so it didn't matter to me.
You were lip syncing?
Yeah,
Already here. That's that
lip
song.
sync.
That's it.
In his presence, he's already here.
Come on,
All
girl.
we have to do is open up your heart because he's already here. I never forget
Ooh.
that.
Girl, I got chills.
I will never
Glory. Oh, I got
3 years
chills.
old, y'all. 3.
Yes. And you still got that voice. All your whole family could sing. I wish
Yes.
Gerald was on here. You remember Gerald used to sing Jesus is
Oh,
Love?
yeah. He's still
Every time I
singing.
hear that, I
Still
think about
singing
him.
his heart out. Yes, he
He's
is.
still,
Doing
wow,
well.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
He
it.
has a set of twins, and
Wow.
he does. He does.
Wow.
Brad is doing good, doing well. He has 4 kids. I'm the only one of the sisters that have a child. My other 3 sisters don't have kids, but mine is theirs. You know, mine is theirs. They all are. And my oldest sister, Katrina, you know, she don't give up. My husband, I sometimes say, we're not the parents, we're the godparents, because she just takes it. And I don't complain because I'm so blessed. I am. My sisters and
Wow.
my brothers are the greatest. They are. And they help so much. And we just try to, stay close knit. My mom was hard headed. Y'all know that. Y'all know them. They all alike. But everybody's doing great. And I just thank God for that every day.
That's good.
That's awesome. I know
What a
it.
blessing.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. Well, we're going to get out of here. Thank you again for being my guest tonight, ladies. You're always welcome to come back to the Ella Johnson Show. Whenever you come up with something you want to
Yeah,
talk about, all you
definitely.
got to do is inbox me. Ella, let's talk about this. Bet. Let's do it. You know me. There's nothing off limits here on this show. All right, guys. Love you all. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next time right here on the
Bye.
Ella Johnson Show.